next few minutes thinking with you about what it looks like for you to create a culture of discipleship in your ministry context. This, for me as a pastor, has been one of the hardest questions to ask and to answer. So before I was a pastor where I am now at Storyline, I was a pastor at the Village Church. And my job there was to create environments where we did exactly this, creating a culture of discipleship. We started this thing called the Village Church Institute. And I remember sitting in an executive staff meeting with our staff, and Matt Chandler sitting right next to me, and I'm pitching this. Here's how to create a culture of discipleship. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be like a Navy SEAL training program where we're reading primary sources. They're reading Calvin and Bavinck and Edwards and all of these unbelievable wise men and women from church history. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be 6 people, 10 people, 15 people who they're going to have to come in with like war paint on their face if they're going to want to be a part of this environment. I, in some sense, without even realizing it, was creating an environment for spiritually elite people in the context of our church, in some sense separating from the rest of the congregation. I'll never forget, Matt looks at me and he says, "Hey, brother, I think you're going to have more than 10 or 15 people apply for this thing." And so we send out the application, and we're hoping that they're going to learn the story of the Bible. They're going to learn the basics of systematic theology. They're going to learn spiritual discipline so that they can walk faithfully with the Lord. They're going to learn missional living so that they can share this good news with their neighbors and the nations. And again, I'm thinking to myself, Matt, we are raising the bar for these people. Are you sure that we're going to have a lot of people? And lo and behold, a few weeks later, we had 459 applicants for this year-long development program. And if I'm honest with you, that was one of the worst moments in ministry for me, because I realized to myself, have I overpromised, and am I going to underdeliver inevitably? What I realized in that moment is the content is not going to carry this. The curriculum is not going to carry this. If this environment, the Village Church Institute, is going to be successful, it won't be content and it won't be curriculum. What will it be? It will be culture. I don't have the ability to shape and form everybody in that classroom. We invite 200 people to participate, and I'm sitting there in the classroom the first night. I'm getting ready to teach on Trinitarian theology to 220 students, and I feel unbelievably inadequate. I feel like these people are going to come to this first class, and we've got 36 more classes, and they're probably not going to stay. And I realize this cannot be about me. It cannot be about just the content. It cannot be just about the curriculum. It must be about the culture. And as we're beginning the class, I look out and I see these different students. One of the students I knew, he is a THM from Dallas Seminary, and he's working on his thesis. He's unbelievably bright. He can do Greek and he can do Hebrew. And I look over at another table that we have, and it was of young moms. And this mom is a mother of 5. She's still a good friend of mine. And here she is getting ready to learn about Trinitarian theology. And I thought to myself, how in the world am I going to create a culture of discipleship where a THM student is going to leave satisfied and a young mom of 5 who's never been in a learning environment before is going to be discipled and formed and trained? I think to myself about my notes and what I'm going to be teaching that day, and I realize there's going to be some portions where he's going to enjoy because we're doing the very technical work in Trinitarian theology, and I realize there's going to be some maybe devotional moments that she likes, but I realize how are they going to enjoy each other? And I said to the whole class, at the essence of Christian discipleship is love. And I'm hoping that when I'm talking about technical theology, that my sister over here isn't going to be, I can't believe that JT's being so technical. This isn't a class for me. And I also hoped that as I was maybe doing some simpler, basic work, maybe in John's prologue, in John 1:1-14, just simple stuff that this sister might be resonating with, that he wouldn't get frustrated with me. And I said to them, at the heart of Christian discipleship is a hope that it isn't just myself that would be growing, but that my brothers and sisters would be growing. I want to ask you, have you created that kind of environment in your local church where this sister, who might not have any idea what's going on in the class, but she's watching this brother learn, and she says, I love that he's learning. I love that he's growing. I love that he's growing in his love and knowledge of God, and that she might then aspire to grow like that. And at the same time, when we're doing the simpler work, maybe just the basics of saying that the Word is God, and the Word, as if that's simple, right? That he might celebrate and rejoice that she's seeing this Trinitarian formula for the very first time. Because what I want you to be reminded of is the primary metaphor that the New Testament uses for your local ministry context is not just ministry environments. It's not just classes or home groups or missional communities. What is it? Family. And if this brother And if this sister can begin to realize that my church, our family, will be healthier the more that we both grow, it's at that moment that you've created a culture of discipleship. If you've got people coming to these environments or coming to hear you preach and teach and they're in it for themselves, you still haven't created a culture of discipleship. But if you've created a space where it is okay for this sister to say, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm here to learn. And it's okay for this brother to come to say, I really want the robust stuff. Give me Augustine, give me Bavinck. But he's not going to be frustrated at her when she asks a simple question, but rather is going to rejoice with her and vice versa. That's when you've done it. That's when you've created a culture of discipleship, when it's no longer about an individual learning, but it's about the family learning how to know and love our triune God.